Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We'll get started in just a few minutes, inshallah. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Can you guys see me?
Okay. We will get started now, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. And welcome to our very first session of our Ramadan Chronicles. Inshallah, we will get started with this series, and today's going to be our first day. And today we will have, and for the rest of Ramadan, we will have our special guest, Ghiath, to give us our speeches. So, assalamu alaikum, Ghiath. Thank you for coming on.
Of course, anytime.
Okay, and so what topic are we going to be talking about today, Ghiath?
So today, inshallah, we will be starting with the creation of Iblis and then Khalq Adam. I was inspired by this from, I think it's either the 5th or the 6th page from Surah Al-Baqarah. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون. Well, pre-Adam time, there's a lot of questions about that, right? Like, what was before humans? You know, Darwinism says, well, before humans, there were apes. So it started to grow legs, and then slowly it digressed into, you know, walking into the ground, making it an amphibian. And then from that, it started becoming a monkey, a rat first, and then a monkey. And then after that, that monkey became a human. So that is the Darwinism approach. But in Islam, we think of it a little bit differently. And a lot of people actually don't know that. What was before Khalq Adam. If you ask any Muslim that, now if I ask you, Haneen, what was before Khalq Adam? A lot of people would answer, oh, you know, there was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, and then the Malaika, all of that. But many don't know that on earth, before Adam, there were creatures that inhabited earth. There was the jinn. The jinn, they were just like us. They had Instagram Live, just like me and you right now, and they would talk with each other. They had technology, they had everything, you know? Normal life. They had countries, they had states, but they committed a lot of corruption. They started killing, they started murdering, they started stealing, you know, basically everything we're doing. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had his wrath upon them, and he completely wiped them. There's many things, if we want to keep talking about what was before Adam, like for instance, أول شيء خلق الله سبحانه وتعالى. What was the very first thing that Allah created? Was al-qalam, the pen. And then he told that pen, write down everything that all the creations are going to do. Now imagine that you and I and everyone who's watching, all of us, everything we're going to do, this exact moment of me and you being on Instagram Live, and this exact moment of all you watching this was written before even the jinn and the malaika were created. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote it down. That's really, yeah, right? It's very crazy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to hadith, by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he was done from creating everything he loved, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala began to create istawa al-arsh. So he created his throne. Istawa alayh. We don't know how istawa al-arsh. We don't have a clue about that. We take it as it is. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created al-malaika and al-jinn. And after that, he created one among the jinn that was favored. Now, why are they called jinn? It was said, according to a hadith by the Prophet ﷺ, al-jinn comes from al-jannah because the jinn were created to protect al-jannah. Initially, that was their cause. And Iblis was made their leader. That was Allah's favorite. The story of Iblis today is very important for us. And especially in Ramadan, I think it's very important. Because it just shows that no matter how much you obtain and no matter how successful you become, you always have to keep in mind that you have to go back and remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave you this, and Allah allowed you to do that. Allah is allowing us to fast. That's not something we came up with, right? If Allah decided that we're not going to fast right now, we're not going to fast. So it all goes down to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Iblis actually was given everything by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him a king on earth and heavens. He gave him a lot of power. He gave him a lot of strength. When the jinn disobeyed Allah, Iblis was in the leading army. He was leading the malaika to send Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrath upon the jinn and fight them. And Allah knew that Iblis felt a little bit of arrogance. He felt that, oh, those angels created from nur, from light. I'm created from fire. I'm better than them because Allah favored me, because Allah put me to lead them. Allah knew that. Allah knew that Iblis was thinking about this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to test him. And it's very funny because we are the test of Iblis. Humans, we were created as a test for Iblis, and he fell. So so Allah knew about this and he wanted to test him. So Allah said, after seeing all of this corruption on earth, he said, okay, I want to have a new deputy on earth. I entrusted the Jan to be my deputy. I entrusted Iblis, and I know Iblis is thinking that he's the best, and Allah knows the future, and Allah knows that Iblis's choice was that he is going to go astray. So Allah wanted to choose a deputy on earth that Allah knows this deputy is going to follow through with him and he's not going to disobey him. So he decided to choose humans, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam. And then Iblis, he came to Adam alayhi salam before Allah put the soul in Adam, and he went through him and he went out, and the angels were actually scared. They were terrified of Adam. They were like, oh my God, what is this creature? We've never seen something like that before. And because of their logic that, you know, they were created with the logic that they follow, they obey, they don't disobey Allah. So they can't imagine if somebody disobeys Allah. It's like you saying, you know, could you imagine as a human not eating or not drinking? You know, that's a sense for them. They don't have the instinct for it. So when the jinn committed all of these sins and disobeyed Allah, it was such a big thing for them. It was very abnormal, very unnatural, weird. And now they're questioning, oh, أتجعل فيها ما يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك. You're going to create somebody who will also disobey you again? And we are here. We just don't disobey at all. We are always obeying you. Why do you want to create someone like that? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a bigger wisdom. He said, إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. I know what you don't know. Right? And then when Iblis came out of, you know, going through Adam, he went to the Malaika and he said, you know, there's nothing inside him. He's empty. Like literally, it's literally a big pottery, an empty pottery, because we were created from salsa, right? We were created from clay. And he looked towards Adam and he said, if I were given the permission by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to erase you, to destroy you, I will do it easily. Nothing is gonna fight me. And if not, if I was given the order to follow you, I'm not gonna follow you. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala نفخ فيه من روحي من روح الله سبحانه وتعالى من روحنا, and Adam now has a soul. Now Adam alayhi salam, he wakes up. What's going on? What's happening? Who am I? Where am I? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets him and he علم آدم الأسماء كلها. He teaches him everything. And then those same things, he gave it to al-malaika, and he said to the malaika, okay, smart ones, right? You're telling me, how could you create something like that? And there were corruption. Here, I want you to define each one of these names. And the malaika said, Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. We don't know anything that other than what you taught us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns to Adam. He says, قال يا آدم أنبئهم بأسمائهم. He tells Adam, tell them, define it to them. Tell them what are these. And then Adam أنبأهم بأسمائهم. فلما أنبأهم بأسمائهم قال الله سبحانه وتعالى ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم غيب السماوات والأرض وأعلم ما تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون. Didn't I tell you I'm the one who knows everything? I know what you hide. I know what you think. And it's funny because أعلم ما تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون. Allah knows what Iblis was yaktum. That Iblis had arrogance. The following ayah, after that, أعلم ما كنتم تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون, literally the following ayah is وإذ قال ربك للملائكة وإذ قال ربك اسجدوا لآدم, right? The following ayah is the one about the sujood. Literally. So Allah knows what Iblis is hiding. And he literally just gives the test to Iblis now. And the funny thing is, Iblis is witnessing all of this, and he's not getting he's not getting the clue. He's like, oh, Allah is saying, أعلم ما كنتم تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون. So he probably knows that, I think of arrogance inside me, so I probably should stop doing that, No, instead of that, he just doesn't care. So Allah orders the malaika and Iblis يسجدوا لآدم, and he orders them to يسجدوا لآدم, so it is out of respect, not out of worship. And all of the malaika, all of the angels, سجدوا لآدم إلا إبليس, all of them except for Iblis. Now Iblis did not do it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he knows why he did not, right? He said, I know what you hide within you. He turned to Iblis and said, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you? لماذا لم تسجد? Why didn't you? And Iblis said, أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. I am better than this guy. I was created from fire, and he was created from clay. And he's stupid, because if you put clay on fire, it will put it down. So technically we're actually better than him. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't point that out, because this is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cared. Allah cared that you should not be arrogant. Immediately when he did this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kicked him out of heaven. He told him, اخرج منها, like, إنك رجيم, get out of it. ما يكون لك أن تتكبر فيها. You would not have the permission to have arrogance in heavens. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gave him time to Iblis to ask for forgiveness. But rather than that, Iblis decided to be more dwelled with arrogance. Iblis decided to challenge Allah. And Iblis told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, you know what? You kicked me for this guy? All right. I will make sure that he and all of his descendants will go to hell, just like I'm going to go to hell. And this is a personal lesson, by the way. This is a personal lesson. Because two things out of this here, and especially we're at Ramadan. In Ramadan, you're doing all of these amal al-khair, right? You're doing all of these good things right now. Remember that everything you're doing comes from Allah. Remember that at 1 second, you may just do one bad thing and it's gonna all go away. There's, I don't know if people watch The Dark Knight, like Batman, but Joker tells Batman, it only takes one bad day for you to become like me, right? So, mainstream sometimes can teach you something, but that's true. That's the test. That's exactly the test. One bad day. Allah can give you one bad day. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna stay tight and accept it, or are you gonna go astray? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Iblis one bad moment, right? It wasn't really a bad moment. It was just a test. It was like, look, I'm creating something and I'm gonna favor him upon you, okay? I'm gonna let you are favored to me. You, Iblis, you're favored to me. I gave you heavens, I gave you everything. But I just want you to prostrate to him, please. And Iblis refused. Now imagine if Iblis did not refuse. Imagine if Iblis sajad li Adam, how the world today would have been.
I think it's also a great point that you mentioned how Iblis was asked to prostrate to Adam, and I think sometimes people can kind of get a misconception like, oh, why would he prostrate to Adam? He's not God. Adam is not God. But great point that you mentioned earlier, that it's out of respect instead of out of worship. That's something that we should highlight more often.
That is true, actually. There is a sect of Muslims who say, who has this misunderstanding that Iblis actually is a good man. He didn't fail the test because he refused, because, he's like, no, I only prostrate to Allah. I don't do sujood to someone other than Allah. But no, it was out of respect. Like Yusuf, Sayyidina Yusuf, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, they made sujood to him out of respect, not out of worship. However, this was pointed out in Islam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no sujood but to me anymore. Even for respect, no sujood but to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So going back to Iblis's disobedience and challenging, the second lesson we learn personally: if something bad happens in your life, something that you don't like, try to take the time and think about it. Ramadan teaches us sabr, patience. So try to have sabr in that situation. Maybe you're being tested. Maybe there's a better outcome, because if you just go crazy and be angry, and I guarantee you that everything is going to fail. And whatever you lost at that moment, you will never be able to get it back. Iblis, instead of him being patient and thinking about what he did and going back to ask Allah's forgiveness, Iblis decided to just go rebellious. And he made it worse. He challenged Allah. Imagine you're in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you challenge him. I mean, I could not dare challenging him now. How could he dare challenge Allah right there? He's in front of him. He's challenging him. So he made everything complicated. In fact, I think there's a hadith also by the Prophet ﷺ that every time you read Surah As-Sajdah, it makes Iblis cry when he hears it, because he regrets that he did not make sujood. He was like, if only I made that sujood, it's one cost, I would have been somewhere else now. And it's funny because also he didn't just, challenge Allah, but he also kind of accepted that he's going to go to hell. Like, he wasn't trying to be like, no, I'm sorry, Allah, please forgive me, I want to stay in heaven. No, he was like, you know what? I will take all of his descendants with me to hell. So, like, from my perspective, it's like, so you're okay with going to hell, So then Adam alayhi salam was put into heavens, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, you can eat everything, you can live, this is heavens, everything you want, you get. There's no shaqa, you can't get tired. And Adam was, enjoying all of those blessings. However, he felt a little lonely and he felt a little sad. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while Adam was asleep, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Eve from the rib of Adam, from Bula' Adam. He literally woke up from his bed and he finds someone next to him that looks like him, but is a little different. He's like, it's such a cute moment. He's like, oh, who are you? Yeah, hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? This is probably when this is like people point out, scholars, they point out that this is an evidence that we humans are social creatures.
Yeah.
Like Adam, he had everything. Like today, right? You may have all of the wealth you want. You may have the best mansions. You may beat Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and become a trillionaire. But you're still a social creature. That is not going to substitute for your mental happiness. You still need a wife. You still need kids. You still need friends. So that was like a big evidence, and honestly, everything Adam does reflects upon us as humans. Because that's our father, right? So Adam, he found Eve, got to know each other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, I created Eve, لِتُؤْنِسَكَ. So she makes you feel happy, so you have fun. And he asked them to eat from everything but one tree. That one tree, don't eat from it. Now that's a test for us, right? Iblis's test was his nafs. Is he gonna, follow through with his arrogance, or is he gonna fight it? Now, our test was, are you gonna fight Iblis? And it's also a test of nafs, because if you open the door for Iblis, he comes to you, right? If you don't control yourself and tell Iblis, no, you can't come into my door, he will come to you, and he will make you go astray. And this is what happened. Iblis came to them, and there's a question of how did he go into heaven if he's out of it. I think they get this from the Bible, Israeliyat, but there's also like scholars like Ibn Kathir talked about this. He said there was a hayya, a snake, that Iblis hid into its mouth. He asked, if I can hide into your mouth inside of you so I can get into heaven, and the hayya allowed him to go in. This is something that mentioned in the Qur'an, and there's not much of approved hadith about it, so we take it with a grain of salt. We don't believe it, we don't disregard it. Usually with Israeliyat, with the things from the Bible, unless it's clearly against the religion, we don't say, oh, it's wrong, because remember, the Bible was, from the Muslims' perspective, it's corrupted. So there are things that are still true, that we still believe in the Bible, but we take it with a grain of salt. So unless it's clearly against the creed, or it's clearly supporting our creed, then we take it with a grain of salt. So that's one of those things. And then Iblis, he went to Adam and Eve, and he's like, hey, do you see that tree? هل أدلكم على شجرة الخلد? Do you guys want me to tell you the tree that if you eat, you will become immortals? That one that Allah said no. They hesitated. They're like, but Allah told us no. And he's like, yeah, you know why he told you no? Because he doesn't want you to be immortals like him. Because he doesn't want you to have all the knowledge he has. Iblis told them, if you eat from this, you will be immortals and you will have the knowledge by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a trait for us. We seek perfection. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages it. But here's the test here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Adam, eat from everything. You can seek perfection. However, don't disobey me. I will give you what I decide to give you. So Adam and Eve ate from the tree. بدت لهما سوآتهما. They immediately after they ate the tree, instead of that tree giving them knowledge, and making them immortals, the tree awakened their instincts, and now they feel hungry. They feel that they want to use the restroom. They before that, they always say that Adam and Eve became naked. It's not that they became naked, it's that they didn't have the sexual feeling, like the lust. They didn't have lust. So when they ate from it, now they have lust. So Adam, after he ate from the tree, he acknowledged that the body of Eve, and Eve acknowledged the body of Adam, and that made them lustful and felt a little ashamed. So they grabbed the tree leaves and they started covering themselves because they felt a little ashamed. This is something I should not show you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard of this. He saw this, and he ordered Adam and Eve to come, and he said, "Didn't I not tell you not to eat from that tree?" Adam said, "Yes, you did." He said, "Get out of it. Get out of heavens." And he told him, Iblis, Eve, all of them, he said, "You guys, I will put you on earth. You will be enemies to each other." And for Adam, he said, I will, now that you ate from the tree, now you are gonna be sweating. Now you're gonna, work hard to get your food instead of just getting it that easily. So then, the differentiation between the difference between Adam and Iblis was that Iblis, he rebelled, right, against God. He's like, no, I'll take them all to hell with me. Adam, at that moment, he's like, oh no, what did I do? I messed up. So he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. And he didn't know what to say. He said, Allah, can you forgive me? I don't know how can I ask for forgiveness? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted it, and he told him, I'll teach you words. If you say them, I forgive you. And Allah taught him. This just shows that even when we want to do good, it's always coming back to Allah. Always comes back to Allah. We seek our strength. We seek our guidance. We seek our success from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a personal thing I have personally experienced. When the moments that for instance, life happens, and the moments that I start not reading the Qur'an as much, or praying or something like that, on time, things in my life are not as strong as it used to be. But the moment I start reading the Qur'an, magical things happen to me. My confidence just boosts because I just acknowledge that I'm given the strength by Allah. And when your creator is the one that is giving you that strength, it means he created everything. Nothing can stand between you and your creator, because he is the one who's supporting you. Even if you get the king of a country, right? He should not make you feel scared, because that king he's also human like you. He's created by Allah. If Allah says, oh, you're not going to hurt him, he's not going to hurt you no matter what. And there are many stories in history where that happened. There's, I think, a story by a scholar. I forgot which scholar it is. But the Khalifa, the king, called on that scholar, and he asked, he was very angry, and he was preparing death penalty or something on him. And then the scholar was very calm, and he sat on the side and he started saying some words, asking strength from Allah and all of that. He went in, and the Khalifa 180 degree. He was like, welcome, assalamu alaikum, how are you, everything. And he went out, and everyone, they were like, bro, this guy wanted to kill you. What did you do? Did you do sihr to him or something? And he was like, no, I just asked strength from Allah. I'm a sole believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah created him, and he can change him. So yeah, so we don't have much time, I believe. We have to conclude at the moment. Inshallah, we continue next time, inshallah, with the remaining story of Adam. But the takeaway from today's live is just remember, you're doing things not because of your strength. You're doing it because you were given by God. You were given by Allah those strength. And remember that when you were given these things, make shukr, say thank you to Allah, use it for good, and always, always be humble. Do not seek to defy or challenge Allah, but seek His satisfaction, because Allah is the best supporter that you'll ever have. I know probably there's some of my Arab homies back home, right? So I'm gonna say in your terms, Allah ahsan wasta andkum yaha. Ahsan min ay wasta bid-dunya. Allah is the best moderator, like I'm pretty sure, Hanin, you're from Egypt, you know the term wasta, right? Yeah, He's the best one, if, when you go and like, you're like, yo, you go to the police, you're like, yeah, I got someone in the government, he can support me. Allah is the best type of wasta you can have, because He created everything. He can, like, if Allah wanted to move Mars to be between your hand, He will do it for you. But if you stay with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if you're always asking strength from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what we have for today, inshallah.
Yeah, you made some great points, mashallah. Like, I love the point where you said we were like social beings. I feel like that's very relevant now because we're in a pandemic and we're not able to be as social. And I feel like it has had a huge toll on a lot of people. And we all feel the like, our social need, like now that we're in quarantine, that we didn't feel before. So that's a great point. And like you said, there's so many great points in the story of Adam and Iblis that we can relate to now. So Jazakallah khair for all of that. And I hope everybody who tuned in benefited from this. I definitely did. It's been a great session. And yeah, so I believe our next session, inshallah, will be on Friday. Yeah,
Inshallah. Yep,
inshallah.
we'll continue the story of Adam, inshallah, and Qabil and Habil next time. Inshallah.
Sounds good. Okay, Jazakallah khair yeah, for coming on, and Jazakallah khair for everyone. And inshallah, next week we will continue with the
Inshallah. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Alaikum salam. Jazakallah khair, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.